Art is made to teach you, art is made to inspire you, art is made to motivate you, and art is made to make you uncomfortable. Takopi's original sin, an anime so gut-wrenchingly good it had me ugly crying by the time the final credits rolled in. It was an anime that was honestly way too uncomfortable for me because of how raw and honestly it presented itself, forcing me to accept the reality it was showing me, yet I couldn't stop watching because of just how compelling everything about it was. And even in all of that, the message the anime presented to us wasn't one filled with layers of complexity, but was a rather simple one. Talking helps. Crashing into Earth from the far-off world of Planet Happy comes Takopi, a happy and out on a mission to spread happiness throughout the entire universe. Their quest brings them face to face with the young Shizuka, and immediately you can see there's something wrong about her. From her dirty clothes to her tattered and beat notebooks and backpack to the awful state her house is in, you can easily deduce that not only is she a victim of bullying, but she's also being neglected at home. She's a broken girl, robbed of any dreams and desires, leaving her an empty shell of a person, only ever really coming alive when she's with her dog Chappie, her only source of joy and comfort. Takopi, a creature who only knows happiness, is one that fails to truly understand the gravity of what she's going through. They cannot begin to process her sadness because they have never experienced such emotions before. Coupled with the fact that they're an alien with next to no knowledge of how humans work, it leaves them coming off as naive and somewhat insensitive, but you cannot really blame them because they don't know any better. Rather than try to understand Shizuka, Takopi only jumps to their own conclusions all the while trying to fix her problems. They don't see Shizuka as someone in pain, they only see her as someone who just isn't happy, and that's a huge difference. She needs to be fixed. It's almost an art form watching this creature just straight up not understand this girl is someone desperately in need of some serious help. It's only until they encounter her dead body do they experience sadness for the first time, and it's what spurs them into using one of their happy gadgets to go back in time just to prevent her from ever taking her own life. But upon going back in time, you think they'll be able to finally help the girl where it matters, but unfortunately, Takopi still fails to see the bigger picture. They don't see her bullying as anything, and pass up her ending her own life due to not doing her homework, or not eating lunch, unknowingly disrespecting the gravity such an action holds. Because of Takopi's surface level understanding of her situation, all in an attempt to help bring her happiness, they fail to actually address the root cause of her problems and just end up making things even worse for the young girl, bringing down the full wrath of her bully, Marina. Takopi is quite clearly the representation of those who fail to understand people but act like they know what's best for them. You know, the kind of people that see you sad and say, "Don't be sad," as if that's just going to magically stop you from being sad. It's disingenuous, doesn't help, and most times it just leaves the person feeling even worse. What Takopi's actions do is invalidate the struggle Shizuka is going through, and even when they realize Marina is actively antagonizing Shizuka, they see it as the two of them fighting, which is such a gross misunderstanding of the situation because for them to be fighting, they need to be seeing each other as equals. What this is far from that. And when Takopi tells Shizuka to just make up with her bully, it only further invalidates her. I'm sure we've all met a Takopi before. You know, the kind of people that just tell you stuff like, "Tough it out, there are others having it worse out there," or "Why are you stressed? You're way too young to be stressed out." Stuff like that. When they see you displaying emotions that aren't happiness, either they avoid you or disregard your struggles, downplaying them. Watching Shizuka's struggles were especially hard for me because I related a great deal to her, more so than any of the other main characters. She's a girl who needed a responsible adult or at least someone to talk to, but was left all alone. Her teachers can clearly see she's being bullied, but they do nothing to stop it, and the one person trying to help her is only making things worse. The very first episode of the anime does a really good job putting you on Shizuka's side while getting you to absolutely hate Marina. You desperately want to see this evil child get put in her place. In your eyes, she's already irredeemable. But then towards the end of that very first episode, we watch Marina come home to this. Everything makes sense now. Whatever hate and anger you had towards her disappears, and in its place is nothing but pity for the poor girl. The ruthless bully you villainized throughout has been humanized, and all you're left with is a scared and hurting child, also desperately in need of some help. You come to understand that what Marina has been doing was perpetrating the cycle of abuse, exerting what little power she had over someone she sees as the cause of all her pain and suffering. Is it a very unreasonable way to see things as? Yes, because in the end, Marina is a child who doesn't know any better. and with no positive force or support in her life, she's left to fend for herself however she can. Even though she's surrounded by friends who join her in picking on Shizuka, it never feels like there's any real connection to them, all of it feeling very surface level. She has nobody to share her pain with, as the only other person who could truly relate to her is currently being her victim. It's something she's never able to heal from, having that loneliness carry into her teen years as it only gets worse when she's in high school, becoming an entirely different person from the way she was when she was younger. After reaching her breaking point dealing with her now alcoholic mother, the two get into an altercation that leads to her killing her, and after she does, she finds herself blaming Shizuka again, who at this point has been out of her life for around 7 years. She also inadvertently influences the very impressionable Takopi into believing killing Shizuka is the only way to get happiness. If not for the fact they had their memory wiped, Takopi would have also fallen victim to the cycle of violence. And even when they do begin to remember, they come to realize that happiness and sadness aren't as black and white as they thought. Good people are capable of bad, and bad people are capable of good. Talking and listening go hand in hand in helping people understand each other. Takopi failed at both, which is what led to them constantly making things worse for everyone involved. But aside from Takopi, I think the character who carries this theme the most would have to be Azuma. Azuma is a young boy crushed by his mother's expectations, because his older brother, Junya, is a genius always able to land perfect scores at every test, becoming the benchmark for success in their household. However, no matter how much Azuma tries, he's never able to land that perfect 100. His scores are great, just not good enough for his mother. Anytime Junya got a perfect score, she rewarded him with pancakes, something Azuma had always yearned for, and every time he didn't, he was forced to watch as those pancakes get trashed. It put a lot on the young boy as he ended up associating his value and worth to perfect scores, and if he couldn't get that, it meant he wasn't worth anything, and worse, he wasn't worth his mother's love. This caused him to spend any time he had studying, leading to him isolating himself from his classmates and his brother. Azuma saw his brother as some unobtainable goal and began to resent him when he saw his brother doing anything but studying to get even better. This resentment caused him to push his brother away. He never tried talking to his brother, nor did he ever try listening to him when he tried reaching out. All he wanted was to be seen. And the one person he thought saw him for him, Shizuka, only really saw him as someone useful to help her cover her tracks after Marina's accidental murder. And just as she manipulates him into taking the fall for her, Azuma is confronted by his brother. Just by asking the simple question of, "Are you okay?" does Azuma begin to unload on his brother all the things he's been bottling up for years. After so long, he's finally able to connect with his brother and see him as human, completely changing his perception of his self-worth and becoming a better person for it. He even later goes on to talk to Takopi as an equal, thanking him for all the time they spent together, whereas before he saw Takopi as someone beneath him. And let me just tell you, anytime these scenes came up, I cried. Hell, even as I was scripting this, I was holding back tears. Takopi's original sin is an anime that shows you the beauty of communication, as simple as it may seem. Towards the end, when Takopi comes face to face with Shizuka again, they can't help but cry and lay their honest feelings to her. After experiencing both sides of the struggles these girls have been going through and experiencing all these different emotions, Takopi finally understands them and is able to empathize with her. They apologize to Shizuka for not being able to do anything for her, for trying to fix her when they didn't understand how she felt, for not trying to actually listen to her, and most of all, for leaving her alone when she had nothing left. For the first time ever, the two are able to relate and so spend the night crying in each other's arms. This newfound understanding and empathy is what spurs Takopi to sacrifice themselves to fix the happy gadget that lets them go back in time. However, in this new timeline, Takopi never existed, but acts as some kind of guiding force for the kids they came to love in some way. Takopi becomes the force that gives these girls the opportunity to finally talk. Thanks to catching a glimpse of a Takopi doodle while in the middle of beating her, Marina is finally able to see Shizuka for who she is: human. She comes to understand what she's been doing all this time, and for the first time, talks to her like a person. So now the two girls, while small, have found some kind of solace. Shizuka has someone who sees her, and Marina has someone to share her pain with. And while their lives haven't been magically fixed, they still face a lot of abuse at home, the girls are much better off than they were before, because they're able to talk to each other and share their burdens ever so slightly. It's ironic, at the start of the series, Takopi had suggested that Shizuka try to talk to Marina to settle their problems, which I consider to be unrealistic, but that ended up being what actually happened, proving that truly, talking brings happiness. And I think that's what makes Takopi's original sin so compelling, because it reminds us that happiness isn't something you just give to people, it's something you build together. It's fragile, awkward, and sometimes painful, but it's all necessary for it to feel real. Takopi came to Earth believing they could fix sadness with a gadget or a few kind words, but what they really found was that sometimes the best thing you can do for someone isn't to cheer them up, it's just to listen, to sit with them in silence, in the hurting, in the part of life that doesn't have a happy gadget or an easy fix. That's what Shizuka needed. That's what Marina needed. And honestly, that's what a lot of us need. In a way, Takopi's real gift wasn't happiness, but understanding. And that's what makes this story so special. It's not about saving the world, it's about saving one person by being there. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on the series are as a whole. I'm really curious about you guys' perspective. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future content. I've also got a Patreon up where if you'd like to support me further, you'll be gaining access to exclusive content, as well as a shout out at the end of every video. So as always, this has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.